the other thing was taking on finally this culture war. The greatest single myth perpetrated by the polarizers. There's a great culture war. You know, I don't know whether you know people like this. I don't know if Bobby and Susie Smith in Kokomo, Indiana, get up in the morning and say, that culture war, we just got to get out there and enlist, join up, let's get in. The culture war is among polarizers who need a culture war because they need to make a living. What would they do if they never culture? There's no culture war. People go about living their lives every day. But now the difference is, I think, the polarization used to be talked about in Washington and it was among the political classes, but now it's out in the country. Why? Because polarization is starting to hurt people because government's come to a standstill because of it, and I think they're going to fight back.
Well, the other thing that we talk about in the book that I think is key to a lot of this, Bob, is the loss of the personal relationship in Washington.
Absolutely.
People used to stay in Washington for a couple of weeks at a time. They'd go to dinner, their spouses would be there. The younger members of Congress had kids in school. One member called up another, my kid's having a little trouble in this. Oh, I'm glad you called me because my kid used to have this trouble, and here's how we worked it out. Nobody does that anymore. Tony Hall, the former congressman from Ohio and a Democrat, used a wonderful metaphor. He said, Washington had become a suitcase town. These people come, there's 2.5 days in Washington, their spouses stay behind back in their home districts and states. There are now separate restaurants in Washington. There are restaurants frequented mostly by Democrats, other restaurants frequented mostly by Republicans. It's kind of an ideological apartheid in Washington. Nobody knows each other.
That's because nobody wants to have a party with both of them in their house because the china will get broken. But just so we make something pretty clear here, you and I are good friends, but you are still a conservative, and you're still wrong.
Well, that's why they call me on the right.
That's right.
You're on the wrong.
Well, you could say that, but